Hi guys, happy end of the year. My name is Rudo. I'm a full-time trader, investor in crypto, and today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin being at support. Why I'm considering buying. Now, the last stream I did with you guys, I explained to you that we're going to potentially see downside to this area there, then go back up to the previous support that was lost. And if it gets turned into resistance, which it has, we will go lower still. As per the YouTube, you can clearly see I explained it there. Now, here we are now. We're at that situation where I think that there's a support coming in, and it's a support that I'm thinking that we need to start consider buying some of these alts. Okay, so I'm going to dive into that. And another thing that I need to share with you guys today is it's the end of the year, so we need to look at the 3-month candles. We need to look at the monthly candle, which is about to close again, and then obviously back to weekly and then back to daily. So I'm going to start with that, and then thereafter I'm going to be showing you some alts, and then we're going to be looking at whether there's reason to suspect that the support for them as well, where they're at this thing, is good enough for us to buy. Okay, so if you have got any questions or anything, drop them in the comments. Yes, I really do hope everybody has an amazing year. To each and every one of you, CTM is so over this. And yeah, and it's the truth. There is a lot of discounts in the market, but the way that we always say, take things level by level. I want to make sure if I buy a discount, I've got a very nice, clean and clear invalidation level, so that I don't end up holding it all the way down like an idiot. Okay. So let's start. Let's start off first. So I'm not going to dive into this chart because I've got a few things here I want to share with you guys, but I want to start here. And I'm going to now delete the prediction as per the previous YouTube videos. I'm just going to take away everything because I want to have an unbiased view on what it is I'm seeing. As soon as you've got a line, your mind already tries to fill in a picture there. So let's go over and let's get that 3-month. Now, you see, I don't use the 3-month that much, but there it is. Okay, so when we're looking at this from a 3-month point of view, you can clearly see that we've got a really nice bullish 3 months. The rule is there will always be an overlap or there will always be a retrace within a candle. So if we take the open to the close of that 3-month candle and apply the standard fib on that, the argument is, or the idea is that if we can close by the end of tonight at say $96,000, this would be still an extremely bullish candle. It's typically once we close below those 23.6s, those levels, that's when the market then starts doubting and saying, well, are we going to go 38.2 or 618? So that's the first thing that we need to take off the 3-month. Okay. Now, another thing that we can use the 3-month is as well is if it closes where it's at, it's still okay because any overlap between these areas could be that discount round that we can buy. But, for now, I'm betting that the market's going to want to try and push back up to 96. Okay, that's the big thing on the 3-month candles. Okay, now if we go to the monthly candle, that means that the monthly candle will close as a doji. Now, a doji doesn't necessarily mean that the next month is just going to turn around and rally, but it also doesn't mean that it's going to dip. So don't ever use them as a definite idea of a bullish or bearish sentiment. It just means that there's going to be, or there is, not enough market activity at the moment. So people are unsure. So doji can be pervade bullish or bearish. But here's how traders and hedge funds will look at these kind of things. So if we get the doji or Morningstar, whatever the case would be, they will use the upper and the lower end of that candle range and say, go long once it's there, go short once it's there. So that then also tells us that if this happens, that we close at 38.2, we only need to be bearish once we lose 90. So then we've got a nice bottom for ourselves locked in. We can almost call it a thou shall not cross. A nice low level that if we go below that, that's when short traders are going to want to try and trade that. And if we go above this area again, that's where the bullish market's going to want to try and continue. So there's a little bit of a choppy range between here and there. And there's a lot that can happen within that area and time that can still be spent because we could chop for a week or so in New Year, say mid-January, only start rallying up higher. Okay, so now we've got those two areas defined. Okay, and let's then take this over to the the weekly time frame. Okay. Now, for weekly time frame, I want to bring in the RSI real quick. And the big thing with the RSI, let's just delete those old lines. Big thing with the RSI is, what have we done? We've made a higher high in price, but not a higher high on the RSI. Okay, so the easiest way to just mark that out, I'll just use a normal support line there. Okay, and I'll use the divergence on this one. So we've got strong bearish divergence. Now, strong bearish divergence is a real bullish sentiment, because what it will do is it will try and create that buy the dip environment. So the fact that it's bearish is okay. I'm not seeing it as a bad thing. I'm saying that we've got an invalidation. So if things go wrong, so if we fall below the lower range of the monthly candle, this would be the target to where I think that lower range will take us. So lose 90, we can go as low as 73. Okay, that's the worst case scenario for this, because then we will probably then test the divergence pivots. Okay, and then at that stage, either go and test the previous support area, or if the market wants to be really then bearish, then it's over. Then it's over. Lose 72, it's over fast. But I mean, it's so far ahead of us, or so far down the road. I don't even want to try and, I don't want to put too much energy into trying to think what we do if that happens. Okay. So here we've got it now. So we've got good areas, and we know that the market, if we go below 90, can go, but we're still far away from that. Heading over to the daily time frame then, and I think this is the important one. The daily time frame, as I explained to you guys the last time, had hidden bullish divergence. Now, this is stronger than bearish divergence, because what it does is it tells us that although the market then is retracing, the momentum is dissipating, price is holding on to critical pivots. There's a demand zone. There's the RSI below this. So this tells me that this entire area here will be if the market wants to be bullish, if that's institutional traders on the monthly wants to buy things up and get it at 96, we're right smack in that buy zone at the moment. We're at that support, okay? And if this support gets lost, so we go below that, that would typically then start opening the door for that bearish idea, saying go below 89, then things are going to be horrible. Okay, so now that we're there, we're in that right area. Now, what I normally do is 50% of the wick, that's the buy. Oh, let's use the right one. There you go. And we've already gone to 50% of the wick already. So we've already potentially tagged that 91. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out. But for me, this is a really bullish signal, and it is an attempt to try and get above that 96. Okay, remember the 96, that's that pink line there. So the 96 is where I want to see this rally push. And then the last thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that we do make a higher high. Okay, so that would be the second thing that I want to keep an eye on. So for the next week, let's see if we can get the monthly to close bullish, meaning at 96. And then let's see the first, second, maybe the 5th of Jan. At that stage, I'll be back doing regular daily streams again, try and get a higher high, and then come back. Then we can cement in potentially the pivot that's sitting around here where price is revolving or fighting. So then we can cement in that as support just below the 23.6 to then go to the moon. Okay, and that would be the hope that I'm looking for. And that's the bullish narrative that I think is the most probable. Now, one could argue, yeah, but Rudo, you've already gone below that demand zone. This is a liquidation event for me. This is a Darth Maul candle. We've spoken about it. It is more leverage trade market participants than anything else. And that's why I'm using the buy but perpetual contract, because this is people just getting liquidated. If you'll use a spot, the picture will look completely different. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Everything bullish for Bitcoin. Now, we can quickly go and look at CME gaps. Worst case scenario, as I said, as per the original analysis from last week, there's still 79. I doubt 71 as as we earlier said. I mean, 79 worst case scenario if the market wants to go that low on the CME gap. And from the point and figure chart, just to try and see where the liquidity or where a gap is, you can see that we have gaps to the upside, 97. Now, these gaps tend to get filled as the rule, tend to fold. So if that is the case, price will most likely go to 96 first before it goes lower, to be honest with you, looking at the point and figure. And that's really good. Okay. And then if we do reject at 96 and we make a lower low, the next target will be the 82. But until then, we're still far away from that 82. So I'm just going to keep that in the back of my head. Okay. This is just another version of that. Let's just quickly have a look at the legacy market. Now, what I do is I use the US 30, the S&P 500, and the Dixie, and a few different things. But the important one that I want to share with you guys, if you look at the US 30 price action and you look at the S&P 500, if there's divergence between the way that these two move, it normally signals a continuation or reversal of trend, depending on the type of divergence. Meaning, if the US 30 makes a higher high, and I'll use the strong bearish line there, okay, and the S&P 500 does the same, it's just a local top and means that the trend will continue. But if this happens, that the S&P 500 does the opposite, that normally could reverse the trend, okay. The trend is clearly still up. And then when we look at the lows, we look at it in the same way. So at the lows, if I use the lows, we can clearly see we've made a lower low there. Okay. And what we're doing is we're trying to make a double bottom. So we are diverging slightly. Okay. And if the market wants to, in the beginning of next week, push through and make there a lower low, and this one still has a higher low, we will yet again on this have divergence between the percentages on these. And that will just signal a continuation of the move. I've used this successfully to navigate local bottoms and local highs. I teach this a lot sometimes in the Discord. So I'm not going to talk to this too much, but look at these when they diverge. There's a good example again when they diverge, lower low, higher low, there's divergence. The bearish trend is over. Market's going to rally. So I just look at that always, and that's a really nice way to look at it from a legacy point of view. Now, we can also quickly have a look at the Dixie. I think the Dixie is important before we go over to our alts. And the Dixie is in that imbalance area. Now, when we had our bull market top, the market sold off considerably, and then obviously your Dixie rallies as money flees to the dollar. And when we had the bear market bottom, or the last Bitcoin bottom of the cycle, we had that initial shock where price money then fled from stable back to Bitcoin, you know, and then you create this imbalance. It was too quick. So the rest of that money now needs to find a reason to either continue on the trend, and that's why this imbalance is created. So it was too quick a move, so the market will find a way there. And that's what's created a little bit of a bearish sentiment in our Santa rally, you know, theory that people have, you know, and that's okay. So now if we look at these higher highs, I bet if we bring in the RSI, let's quickly see, there is the RSI. We'll have weak bearish divergence. So we have that the market sentiment setting up to saying, okay, right, we've now, the Dixie has rallied as much as it should, and the continuation of the trend is plausible, meaning that Dixie needs to go test previous support areas. Bitcoin's at support needs to go rally and try and get a new all-time high. Okay, so that's the important thing. And then the level that you need to keep in the back of your head is this one. So I would say thou shalt not cross. So the main thing is look at Bitcoin trying to get to 96, and then hopefully the Dixie falling below 107. And if those two things happen, we would have a really good new year. Simple as that. Okay. Let's continue onwards. When we look at alt season, guys, and I think that's the big question, because we want to move over to the alts now. Alt season, all the conditions for the alt season is there, and we do have a little bit of a holding pattern for BTC as we see there at the top, but it's nothing too serious. This is now, logarithmic view. We're in the right area for when price starts halting, and you can see even there when we had our previous cycles, When alt season starts, it normally gets ignited by price in Bitcoin creating doubt. Bitcoin is not pushing up, breaking through barriers anymore. It still remains bullish, but it's done the biggest majority of its move already. And it's at that stage when you see the massive alt season. So we do have that holding pattern. So it is at the stage where people would say, the alts are cheap. Let's jump ship, maybe sell some BTC for alts. Now, taking the dominance into a bigger picture real quick, this was the analysis that I had for the dominance. So we rejected at the right area, and we're currently still hovering above support area. But if Bitcoin now starts pushing to 96, your alts have been way more disadvantaged with this retrace. They might now start into where Bitcoin goes back up 10%, they'll go back up 15, 20%, and that will push this dominance through this barrier and ultimately give us that lower low that we're looking for to cement in this bearish dominance trend. So everything has been playing out as per 10 days ago when last I did this analysis with you guys. So I'm really happy to say that at least we know we've got our fingers on the analysis, and as the rule always say, news, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. News is a lubricant. It can amplify whatever is already set up in the market. It can't really move the market in that regard. Okay, and I'm going to swear by that. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. We can always talk about that. Okay, and I think that's about everything for BTC, and let's head over to our altcoins now. So this is Cardano. So this was the Cardano sell zone. We're now bouncing, and we're consistently bouncing at that demand. So now is a good time for you to start considering buying some Cardano. We're in the demand zone. We're tagging that 50%, and we're in the 50% of the entire move range. So I'm liking the fact that we're there. Now, will we be, and was this a big next move? I would have wanted to see this thing rally from there. It didn't do that. It's okay. The fact that it's consolidating here means that you've got a very clear invalidation. So if you want to buy some ADA, good time to buy some ADA. But if we start moving into this range, it would be really bad for the coin and bad for the price and bad for any long-term hodling. And then I would want to consider waiting for it to test critical support areas again. Okay, Ethereum. Ethereum can go, let's load Ethereum, 1, 2, 3, probably as low as 3K again. So you can see there's the 50% of the wick. There's room for this thing to, within the day, 3.2, go even lower. But other than that, I'm really happy with holding my ETH still, because ETH is potentially going to now start pushing into the 4. And once it goes into the 4,000 area range, the door is open because there's not a lot of resistance for ETH at this area. Okay, so, and with a bullish Bitcoin, this is alt season. So this is when ETH just starts taking off, being silly, while everything else is still in its wake. So, you know, keep this in the back of the mind. And also on the divergence, we're at that thou shall not cross line. So it is as cheap, you know, if you think about this, as cheap as it should be for the next buy. Now, danger zone, I also said buy zone. If the market wants to do the shakeout, remember now the monthly candle and the upper and the lower levels that I shared. If Bitcoin goes below the lower level, okay, so we lose 90 as support, yes, you're going to get ETH back at 2.8 probably. I don't want to bet on that now. I'm happy with the fact that it's here, and I'm happy to have a little bit of a skin in the game, put it that way. Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash, the analysis now is the same. Think about 420, 440, a really good area for you to buy Bitcoin Cash now. Okay, that is a really good buy zone for us. Reason being, you know, we're going to start pushing the 600-700% real quick, and that's my TP for Bitcoin Cash pretty soon. So let the market do its thing. Let Bitcoin, you know, chop around, get that 96. Once it's back above 96 and starts pushing all-time high level pricing again, this is going to move quick. Remember one thing, guys, and this is the one thing I just want to, with all these coins, okay? Alt season isn't a long process. It's short, okay? Alt season is this. If you think about this timing-wise, This was, what, 150 days. Let's make a little bit there, 150 days. That was alt season, 6 months. Okay. That's it. All the other times, the other 3.5 years is just in preparation for that. Okay. We've had our first shakeout. We're consolidating. We might be in this version of this or there, whatever the case might be. But alt season is short lived and it's now. So now's the time to start placing the bets, thinking that it's going to happen. Once it does, it's going to be over quick. So do not, just like the Cardano, if Cardano caught you guys off guard, do not let the bearish signals when they present themselves catch you off guard. We nailed this one nicely. I want to nail the bull market high with you guys as well. That's the goal here. Okay. Let's head over to the comments real quick. Let's see what we've got here. Happy New Year to you as well, Bronwyn. Same for you, Mart. And Lingo is a real, I don't want to actually look at new projects today, to be honest with you. I rather just want to look at stuff that we've discussed about, spoke about in the previous ranges. OP, look at this nice support range where OP is at. So if you don't have OP, that's a really good area to buy. Celestia is a little cumbersome. We've basically lost that critical area of support. So we're chopping in this range, but that's what I expected as well, saying if we do that, we will have an opportunity to sell Celestia. So say the market does end up being bearish. Okay, so you have to risk in order to find out. We're testing that 50%. So if that happens, and it will give us an opportunity to get out there at $7 at a later stage. Okay, let's see what else. Sui has performed really well. This was a sell zone. We pushed through the sell zone and it's still sitting there. You can see the trend is still there. Sui's still really strong. Now, you can almost use Sui as a guide, okay? Say the market turns bearish real quick and Sui loses this $3.70 pivot support. That would be considered bad, okay? Because then your trending coins, the ones that are still strong now, has also lost momentum. And that's just going to add fuel to a bearish fire as opposed to a buy the dip scenario. So keep an eye on Sui. It will be a really good measuring stick for you to find out how the market's going to move into the future. Coins like Turbos, these were, double your money, then go away, sell off. In light of the bearish market or the current bearish sentiment in the market, they off down testing support areas. I'm still holding them. I'm happy to wait, because the way that this strategy works is very simple. You diversify into projects. Once it doubles your money, you sell half so that the coins you have in remainder is free and you've got your original capital back. I've rolled this over a couple of times, so it affords me the luxury of time to wait and see what this does. If the market wants to turn bearish, let's say really bearish, there will be in the future an opportunity for this thing to go back to at least 50 or 0050 thereabout. I'm just going to call it the action zone, where they will then find a scenario. And then if it wants to go down or up, I don't know what we do there, but there will be that action or that rebalance zone where you can say, okay, right, I bought here, I didn't get my full double your money. Okay, and now I'm in drawdown. When the time it gets there, I'm selling because I will probably buy back there again. Okay, and if I'm wrong, it will go higher and test this area. Then I can buy back what I sold, and it's as if nothing happened. Okay, that's the importance of this analysis. I'm just going to leave it like this for now, so you have a good idea of there. Centerfuge is really cheap at the moment, guys. We had a nice big push. This was the entire buy zone for the last time round. Didn't make a higher high, so the worry is it going to make a lower low? So I'm going to say I'll be a little bit careful to try and grab this now. The RSI and everything will start, flashing in higher highs with lower highs, higher lows with lower lows in price before I would be really comfortable grabbing it. So as of now, it's just harmony. So it's just consolidating in this area. So I'll just keep an eye on Centerfuge. I'm going to just wait before I grab anything there on that one specific. Okay. And then that's about that for the guys. So if you look at the analysis of everything for the year, you can see that we haven't had a bull market. Your big projects curve up 50%. Celestia down 62 from its all-time high. Didex, ICP next to Doge. So we haven't had And we haven't seen a bull market just yet. And that's why 2025 is so important for me. That's why I'm still waiting for this to play out. It's this chart here. Waiting for this to play out. We've got our halving. We've got Bitcoin. We need to see this now. The market does its rally. I don't know how low it's going to go. And I want to see the breakdown in dominance. Once we have that, then we can start saying it's bull market and then start planning to sell out of these coins. Okay, that's simple as that. That's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. Thanks so much for taking the time. Remember, if you want to join me in the Discord, you're more than welcome to do so. See, there's a few more people there. You can get access to the buddy indicator. The buddy indicator makes things a lot easier. I've done some new updates. If you want to know how to update, if you already got it, just go on the 3 dots, update the script. Okay, it's going to give you just the latest updates on that. Come on. Let's do it now. There we go, 6.5. The buddy indicator is an essential tool that I use to analyze the markets just to see whether we're in a bullish or bearish environment. At the moment, you can see that we were bullish, dark blue, and we moved into a choppy environment, which tells you that, you know, it's just going to try and mess around. And good buys is when this thing turns red. That's when you want to look for divergence. So once this candles turn red, I'll look for strong bullish divergence to try and see if the market has exhausted itself in the bearish sentiment that we've experienced. Okay, as simple as that. And all you can do, if you just support Bybit, open your account or transfer your link to me, as simple as that, and then I will hook you up with all this. Okay, it is the end of the year. I will not check the Bitcoin price, and it's an important time for you guys. You just take a little bit of a breather, put yourself in a situation or in the position where you can actually just walk away for the next day or two. Come back, say the 3rd, when I'm back as well, well rested, because the market is going to get busy. Once this thing moves, once we move into bull market, it gets busy. Very little sleep, a lot of gains. It's an amazing time to be there. Now's the time to rest. When it's calm, it's quiet. Put your limit orders, get ready, and then let's wait for the storm to come. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. And let's close off. It's going to be an amazing year. So I want to wish each and every one of you guys a blessed 2025. You know, we do not, luck is one of those things. They just say, as the saying goes, you do not create luck. Luck is preparation meeting an opportunity. We've done the prep work. We're ready to get lucky now. So 2025 is going to be the year for us. So looking forward to it, looking forward to sharing the journey with you guys as well. You have a lovely festive time, and see you guys soon. Cheers, everybody.